So I just want to start with a little bit about me. So I've worked at BYU Photo for almost 3 years, but I did graduate, and so you get kicked out once you graduate, unfortunately. But I did graduate with a photography degree. Some of my interests, my favorite pastime is being with my family. My husband's back there, so being with him. Another fun fact about me, I have an unholy obsession with dogs and funny dog videos on YouTube, so I'll be watching those in my spare time. I love seeing the mountains every day, so it's been really wonderful to live here. And fun fact, some of you may be thinking, wow, she must have ate so much for lunch today, and you're completely right, but also I am pregnant, so now you don't have to wonder about that. Okay, so I wanted to start out with kind of what got me into photography in the first place. He's a photographer named Brandon Woofle, and I saw these are some of his photos, and I saw them, I don't know, probably like 2016, almost 10 years ago, and I just thought, holy cow, these are amazing. And he centers all of his subjects, and you'll see that I center a lot of my subjects still. It's because of this guy, but he's one of my biggest inspirations to get started with photography, and I think that with anything you want to get better at, find inspiration, kind of what people have been talking about, like, yeah, once you get comfortable, you can start making your own things, but when you're first starting out, if you haven't shot that much dance photography before, find inspiration. So what started it all for me here was this photo that Jaron took. He took it right before I started working here at BYU Photo, and I saw it, and it just lit this passion in me, like this light of, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And that's what I love about dance photography, is just I really like looking at it because it's just so pretty. And so I started, showing a real interest in it and tagging along to all the shoots that I could with Nate and Jaron, and I would assist them, I would learn from them. And that's kind of how I started with dance photography, because I definitely, before I worked at BYU Photo, I couldn't even use a strobe. Even in the photo program, like it didn't really teach us that very much. So, and you just keep trying, and I would get feedback on my work, and then I would start, shooting myself and having an assistant, and that's kind of where it went. So I just wanted to talk you guys through my process when I shoot dance photography. And so before I shoot now, I will spend probably about at least 15 to 30 minutes looking up on Google just different poses from that style of dance, and I kind of compile an album so that when I'm with the dancer, if we run out of ideas, then we can refer to it, or if I see something I really like, I'm like, oh, I want to do that, but maybe we could do it a little bit differently, but finding that inspiration. And if it's a personal shoot, I'll have the dancers send me pictures of their outfits so that I can plan ahead. So dancers generally have so many different types of costumes and stuff, and it's so much fun to work with. And I can just mix and match. And if I'm doing location photography like I did for my senior capstone, it was locations all over Utah, and I would pick and choose the outfits that I thought would go well with those things. So that's a really, really helpful thing to do before the shoot, is to know what they'll be wearing, especially if they have flowy skirts. I really like flowy stuff. And then, yeah, if it's on location, I'll spend time before scouting out at least 3 different shots. So, for example, one of my photos I did for my capstone project was up Provo Canyon. If you guys have time, you should drive it. It's so pretty. But I went up and I would just stop at all the places that I thought looked good a couple days before I took her up there. And it was the same time of day that I was going to be doing it. And then when we went up, it was really seamless. I was like, okay, we're going to stop here, get this shot. Okay, we're going to stop further up the canyon here, we're going to get this shot, and kind of choose the background and where I want to put the dancer in. So while I'm shooting, especially with the university, you'll generally have a director with the dance teams that come in the studios to get their photos done, and so that helps too. But it's really important to have a way for the dancers to see their photos live during the shoot, because I'm not personally a dancer. I wish. I did ballet when I was like 6, and then I could do somersault, and that's about it, you know. But so when they can see, like, have that live feedback, then they can say, oh, I need to fix my hand, or I'll need to fix my foot, and they'll have all these terms for it, and I'm trying to learn them, but I don't. Sometimes I'm like, wow, this looks amazing, and they're like, I hate this, let's do it again, you know. And so and that way they know best. And same with the director. We always want to have the director being able to see the photos live, because it just saves so much time afterwards, you know, or it just makes they can use way more shots in the end. And then also, you know, dancers, they'll face a lot of different directions, and sometimes if I have a set lighting, I'll just say, oh, that was so beautiful. Can you just switch sides so their face is facing towards the light? But sometimes if we have more time, then I'm like, okay, you want to do it that direction, and then I'll just kind of switch the key and the rim or whatever, and kind of move things around, and then light that pose, because I think it's worth it. Because you might as well. I mean, you're there. It'll take like 5 minutes, and then you get a way better lighting. And then I think it's also important, especially when you're one-on-one with a dancer, to have music just in the background, because it, you know, I don't know, I like music. Sometimes it just gets like really quiet in the studio, and so when they have music, they're a lot more comfortable, I feel like. And then afterwards, what I'll do is I'll, you know, go through and save everything, and then I send the JPEGs to the dancers generally to choose from. Kind of going back to this, like, they know what looks best. Like, I'll still pick my favorites, and then I'll be like, hey, these are good, right? Like, your hand looks okay in this, and then they'll also choose their favorite ones, and that way, then I'll edit the ones that their position is correct. So there are 3 things that I think are really important to keep in mind while you're photographing dance. And the first is one of my favorites, is the juxtaposition of movement but also straight lines. And I feel like this is my friend Olivia, and it's just so wonderful that she has, you know, these super straight lines that's almost like stagnant, and then you have the movement of the skirt. And you can't always, you know, you might not always have a long skirt or their hair will be up, but when you can, really milk that, because I feel like it's such a beautiful part of dance photography is when you have the stillness and the movement at once. And also look for shape and form. I think dancers are kind of like the epitome of, and the pinnacle of, like, the human body almost. They're able to move in ways that not everyone can, and really show that beauty and that shape and that form. And so, yeah, just kind of look for that. And then also the climactic moment. So you guys that, you know, do sports photography, you get that, of kind of that moment, like not right before, right after, but like right in the point where they're jumping the most, you know. Kind of look for those, and if you miss it, you can do it again. That's what I love about dance photography. It's my favorite part. If you know, like, and you'll see, I'll show you one of my contact sheets. I don't know when it is in here, but like, if I miss it, we'll just run it again, run it again, run it again until they're happy and I'm happy. And that's just the beauty of it. So I do want to say I did not learn this all in a classroom. I had to go out and take a lot of bad photos first. And, you know, I'm still taking bad photos, but I'm learning. And so after much time assisting, watching, and being the photographer, I've started to be able to create what I've envisioned on my own, which is just really exciting. Like, something even if you guys don't want to photograph dancers, I want you guys to find something that just makes you so excited when you see it, and just like have that spark, that passion of just something so beautiful you want to capture, kind of what Dan was talking about, having that subject that you really, really love photographing. So I wanted to tell a story. This is the pinnacle moment, I would say, in my dance photography career, because this is the first time I went by myself somewhere on location. And I was so nervous. I literally almost barfed multiple times that day. And Christy was there and she knows. Because I was like, oh, because I really wanted Jaron to come with me because he'd always come with me. And, you know, even if I was shooting, he would, you know, be like, hey, you should do this, or hey, you should think about that. And I proposed this location to him. It's these ice castles up in Midway, and I had been there and I was like, I am taking a dancer there because this is a magical place, and dancers are magical, and you put them both together and it's like double magical. And so anyways, Jaron said, I'm not going with you. You're doing this by yourself. And so I was lucky to have Christy come as an assistant to help me hold the lights and stuff. But I say this is my pinnacle moment because even though I was so nervous, like literally I almost barfed, but I did it. And you know what? It still could be better, and maybe I could have lit her a little bit better, but I still took a dancer up in the snow. Like,
it was like 12 degrees.
It was so cold, and she would like be in a coat, and then we'd be like, okay, hurry, take the shot, and then like, give me a coat again, and we'll pick our next background or whatever. But just do it. You know, even if you're nervous, even if you're scared, just do it. So, oh, here's my contact sheet I was talking about. So this little photo down here is this one right here. So you can see. So, I mean, we spent a lot of time getting it, you know, and that's okay. Because I was learning, and, you know, we had the time. So, and oh yeah, this is my, it might seem scary slide, but just go out and do it slide. So, all right. So we do have a dancer. Where is Lonnie? Lonnie, hi. So for the rest of this, we're gonna go through, these are just some shots. I didn't take any of these. Jaron did take that one. But these are just kind of inspiration shots that we have for today, and then we're going to kind of expand on that. So yeah, for the rest of the day, we're just going to take some photos, but for the moment, does anyone have any questions at this point? Yes?
I've tried dance photography a few times for my college, and what I've had happen is I want to take a whole bunch of shots, but they've either gotten tired or their director has said, we're only going to do this like 5 times. Has it been normal for you to just be like, okay, let's do it again and again and again?
Yeah, so there, I guess, there are 2 types of shoots that I've done where they are like, we have to set a timer on an iPhone, be like, you have 3 minutes with this dancer. And you go in, and I might not get the shot that I want. And I don't know how it is at your university or not, but what I've been able to do is I'll reach out to the director, or yeah, I'll just reach out to the director and be like, hey, I had a vision for this, and I know we just didn't have that much time, but like, and I'll send her the screenshot of like this dancer and this dancer, because you know there's some that you're like, I really want to photograph that person, and be like, can I have them come in again and we can photograph a little bit more? And they always say yes. So I just ask for more time, and then I'll go do a shoot on my own, and that's kind of what this one was, because she's a theater ballerina, and I saw Nate photographed her. I don't know if you guys remember her. She's like on a table in a library, if you guys remember that. But yeah, I saw her and I was like, I want to photograph that dancer. Yeah, it's Olivia. Yeah, so she's actually the same one as, yeah, I saw her on the library, and then I chose her for this one. But yeah, like sometimes you just don't have time, and you just ask for more time. And dancers, I haven't really met a dancer that doesn't want to get more photos. Like, they love photos, and so that works really well, because I'm like, great, I love taking photos of you. So like, it's great.
So much Brooklyn practices, that helps. That like now you're like, oh, I can get maybe 1 photo in 3 minutes. But I'm sure the first time you shot a dance shoot, it wasn't like that. I mean, my shoots are usually horrible for dance.
It is hard when there's not a director. Generally on those shoots, when you have like a certain amount of time, there are directors there, right? And they kind of just say, here, I want you with this pose, and then they do it. But yeah, when you're on your own, at least you do have time to practice more. So yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Does anyone else have any questions?
I've had a professor invite me to come photograph her class as they dance. Have you ever done that?
A dance class?
Yeah, I have not done it yet. I was intimidated by no lights.
Yeah.
It's just a room full of mirrors.
Could you repeat the question? I couldn't.
Yeah, so he asked about photographing like a dance class. Is she wanting like them all dancing at the same time?
It was vague. Yeah, she's like, can you just come to the class and take some photos?
Yeah, so I've only gone to dance studios to like do formal group shots. And so I think in that situation, do they have like window light and stuff?
Mirrors.
Okay. Yeah, I guess in that situation, what I would do is I'd probably bring some lights to shoot up at the ceiling. So at least I can control the white balance and they're not fluorescent and gross. And then, yeah, I've never done that before, but I feel like at least that way you could kind of control the white balance a little bit in the direction of the light and try and hide, because that is hard with the mirrors though, getting them in there. But I would say just go try it and see what happens.
Are you always freeze framing, or do you do any motion as well?
I've done motion before. Like, wish I had an example. I could, like, I've done like shutter drag stuff. So it really depends on, let's see, I don't know. Am I opening that right there? Oh. Okay, so this one, she's kind of frozen a little bit, but there's like some shutter drag, so it really depends on what you want. So I've done even like this ones where you like move the camera so they're like really blurry and stuff. So it's really like your preference and what the person wants. And so with this group, I would say just like take some lights to shoot up at the ceiling and then go try it. And then if it doesn't work, be like, hey, well, we can try it again, or I can just photograph the dancers individually or in groups, or maybe we could, pick a different spot.
She didn't know what she wanted. She probably didn't understand what it takes.
Yeah, and that's difficult. I think I would just go scout it out and see if there's even a way to make it work, because mirrors can be pretty cool. So if there's only mirrors on like 2 walls, you could probably figure out a way. And then there's always, if you really have to, you could generative fill out the lights in the mirrors. But yeah, did that help? Perfect. 30 minutes? Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have everyone just kind of rotate their
Okay, hi, I'm Lonnie. I'm dancing with BYU's ballet company. I've been dancing for about 14 years. Yeah, I mostly do ballet, but a little bit of contemporary, some jazz, a little bit of everything. So, excited to be here.
Perfect. She's super good. So let's start with, just to kind of warm up. Are you good to start? Which one did you want to start with? Could we do this one?
Yeah.
But the other way?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So generally I would have a little bit of music playing, but that way you guys can hear me otherwise. But
I'll be moving around for filming, so I'm sorry if I get your shot, guys.
okay. There you go. So we'll see if it's still coming through. Okay. It'll come through. So it looks like this iPad might be a little bit slow, but I'll just do a couple shots of these. Lonnie, 3, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Good.
Well, for the questions of the last questions that you have in front of you, will you do reflections or
I'm doing it for reflections because that's something I wanted to try.
You want to talk through reposing dancers and stuff?
Yeah. So kind of how I was saying, with posing dancers. So kind of what I just talked to Lonnie about. We beforehand we sent some. She gave me some ideas. She's like, I want to do contemporary ballet poses. And so I looked up contemporary ballet poses on Google, and I was like, okay, kind of getting an idea of what that looks like. And then she sent me a couple. And yeah, that's kind of how we collaborate to begin with. And then, it's really important too to like make sure it's something that they're comfortable with and that they can do, because sometimes I'll see a really cool picture and like, can you do this? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, okay, you like don't, break your leg or something trying to do this. But yeah, so we'll just like go through poses and do it that way. Lines?
Like things you're looking for.
Yeah, so kind of what I said earlier too is looking for the shape and the form and how the light falls on her, and hopefully we'll get the iPad to start working, because this pose she just did was really pretty, and you can see how the light, I really like light that kind of has that direction, that shadow, especially if she turns. Can you do that pose again? So you can see how it like how it's just so beautiful on her arm, and it's not super flat, right? And so that's something that I'm looking for as well, because I feel like with dancers it will, like the more shaped the light is, the more flattering it is to their form generally.
Could you just walk us through maybe the lights you have? Are you?
Yes, I will do that. Thank you. So right now I just have 3 lights. I have my main key here, which I really like using the soft boxes, kind of like with Jaren, because I can get those lines on her, like you can see right there. And then I have this kind of kicker in the back, and those are the 2 that I wanted to. Oh, that's slowing me down? Okay, thanks. A kicker, and then I have a gel on the back just to add a little bit of blue. And once we get into it, I'll probably start using some copper and stuff, and when I use copper, it's easier to have a gel color, because then it will show up more. But
Flowing dress, is the dancer doing the flow, or?
yes. Oh, you know what? I've done both. I've done where we have a leaf blower, and like I'll have someone like literally blow them with the leaf blower. It's an electric one, so it doesn't smell super disgusting. So we've done that before. We actually, for my capstone, it was just me and this other dancer out at Utah Lake, and there was these like random guys camping that were like our age, and one of them had like a raccoon hat and everything, and I really wanted to get movement in her dress, but I also needed to be far away, and it wasn't really working with like a tripod like timed thing, because I got to be there to like get that moment. And so I had some random guy hold a leaf blower, and like I would have showed you guys that picture, but I told him I'll never show anyone that picture because he's like holding a leaf blower. But yeah, so there's that, or there's times when like I'll run if it is a more like stagnant pose, more with portraits, but I'll run with the poster board and like go like this, and then I'll fling up their hair and stuff. But generally, the dancers will also, if it works, throw their dress. Like the pink one I was showing you guys, I'd say 1, 2, 3, go, and she would toss it, and that works really well.
I actually like the forest scene over the water better than the frozen one.
The forest scene over the water.
When it shows all the puddle and the trees coming up and she's small in the frame.
Oh yeah. What?
Is that the Utah Lake one?
Sorry, you
No,
liked
it's
it.
The one with the trees.
Better than the frozen one. I mean, I like
Yeah,
the frozen
no,
one.
that's good, because that's like why people have different, things that they like, and that's why it's going to be interesting too, because she doesn't have anything that flows, and so we'll be more looking about form and how the light falls, and okay.
Sorry guys, this is a retired iPad, but Greg Heiser took all our iPads to the studio, so.
Okay. Thanks, Jaren. All right, let's try it again. That's all right.
Brooklyn, I kind of have a question
Yeah.
that
I don't know if you could talk about, maybe you could add, as the dancer, what are some of the safety precautions that are considered? Because I know that this floor is probably a lot harder.
Yeah.
And I know that, I photographed my daughter dancing and, she got, her chin sometimes comes close to the floor.
What did you connect it to?
I don't know if you have considerations as a dancer.
Can you restart it?
So like with these shoes, I probably could have scored them more, but sometimes with shoes they tend to be a little bit slipperier, so I'll take a knife and just like rough up the bottom so it's not as slippery, but it depends on the shoe you're wearing.
Is it important for the dancer to know what you're going to be putting before they get there so they can plan what like shoes and things?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to get the cord.
I got a couple of different shoes just in case like I didn't like these ones, but yeah, a lot of times it is helpful to be like, okay, this is what you're wearing, so then they know to bring nude shoes versus pink shoes versus flat shoes. So it's helpful to know.
Usually like Brooklyn or Jordan and Nate, they communicate a lot about like when we'll shoot all the dance teams. So if like, for example, Brooklyn and I did Connect dance team like a while ago, we had a theme and we were very communicative with the director, so that way we could know everything we needed to do.
Yeah.
And they could know everything they needed to bring.
Okay. Generally, I try and shoot the light like in camera. I don't really change a lot of the lighting. The biggest things I change in dance, when I edit dance photos, is cropping and taking out lights if needed. Like if I'm on location, especially by myself, and I want a really wide and environmental photo with a dancer in it, but there's a light stand in it, like they're in the light, if the light's too far away, it's not going to light them. So I will composite out the light sometimes if I need to, so that I can get that shot.
Yeah, do you want to just go through and then you can show them photos of it?
Okay, yeah.
You're posing and everything, and they can
Yeah,
look at it.
and that way, yeah, and we'll just make sure that Lonnie can see it. Okay, let's do that one more time, Lonnie. 3, 2, 1. Good, beautiful. Perfect, and then when you do that, could you look up with your eyes at the light? 3, 2, 1.
Just watch, like you can see here with the modeling light on how it shapes her arms, like what Brooklyn was saying to you guys.
Good.
Dancers are like super ripped. I mean,
Yeah.
even if you're like skinny, you're really jacked. You see the way she's toning and how the light
Here,
comes
I'm
out.
gonna need to scoot back
Brooklyn
just a little
set
bit.
up to highlight her as an athlete.
Good, and one more time, 3, 2, 1. Perfect, good. Okay, and then I'm just gonna turn A down just a tiny bit.
Why are you turning it down?
I'm gonna turn A down just a little bit because it is a little bit bright. And I'm gonna have you come up just a tiny bit. Yep, and that way that's gonna shape her even more. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll show you guys this really fast. So this one is the one before, so you can see that that's like, she's still pretty, has a lot of shape and everything, and dramatic. But this one I just took, here, let's do it one more time and see if it'll come through. Sorry, Lonnie. Ready, 3, 2, 1. Good. Yeah, it's coming through right there. So see how she has an even, yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. It's photography though, so you guys all get it. But see, she has even that darker, quicker fall off, when you move versus how her face looks here, how it's lit here, you guys can see, versus, that. And I mean, you guys know this, but even just moving her like 6 inches, it makes a huge difference. So, Lonnie, what's another pose that you really wanted to do? Looks good. Yeah, so I really wanted to shoot on plexi, but there's not as much space, so I'm changing it a little bit, and so I'll just shoot higher so that it'll be fine, and then I can just crop out the ceiling. So I might come back just a tiny bit, if that's okay.
Brooklyn, do you ever edit out the ceilings when you shoot here?
Edit out. I just crop in. I don't generally edit it out. Okay, so can I see the pose really fast? Good. Perfect. So yeah, so what I'll generally do too is I'll have the dancer do the pose once so I can see like, okay, is the light where I want it to be? which for this pose it is because I like how she's looking into it, which is, I mean, you don't have to do it that way, but I generally like it when the dancers are looking into the light because I feel like I like seeing their face. So, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. And then Lonnie, I'll have you, here, I'll show you. Can you rotate just a tiny bit more to your right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And so I basically just told her I wanted her to rotate a little bit more to her right so she would be perfectly like flat on to me, I guess. And that's where this comes in handy because then I could be like, hey, look at this and like change that one thing. But yeah, so let's, want to change your arm? Yeah, go ahead. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. And then here. Did you want to bend your leg more?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have, you can see it there. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Sorry guys, it was bound to happen.
Do you want to see if it'll mirror the
You
conference?
can always just shoot and then afterwards come back and show them on the TV.
Okay. Okay, let's just do that. All right. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Perfect. And then I wonder, can you look over your shoulder a little bit more at me? Would that be okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, so what I just changed there is, and I'll show you guys on the TV if I have time afterwards, but basically she was looking straight at the light and I could, you know, and you can kind of see their eye, but not really. And so I had her look over her shoulder and I'll show you, but it made a pretty big difference because now I can see her face and she's engaging with me, which you don't always have to do in dance photography, but like I said, I really like seeing their face. So we'll do that one more time and then your hand. Do you want to like rotate it out? Yeah. Okay. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Perfect, that looks great. Okay, so let's pick, so what other poses? You said you had a couple other ones? That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have you, I'm gonna have her do that. Can you just go back just a little bit? A little bit more forward. Yeah, there you go. Okay, ready? Beautiful. Let me just see how the light's looking. So Christy, can you wrap it, or not Christy, Ellie, can you wrap the light a little bit more? So like closer, yeah, bring it like, yeah, bring it over. Yeah, and then point it at her this way. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm having her wrap the light because as you guys will see, can we have the iPad? Thank you. So as you guys can see, the light's kind of coming from underneath her. So it's kind of a scary Halloween look. So we're gonna rotate it and see if that changes anything. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's see if it did. It did a little bit. So I'm gonna have you come this way and go back a little bit. Yeah, right there. Good. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. And then can I see what it would look like if you're looking straight at the light? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Perfect.
Is there a distance matter, like from the plexiglass? Do you care where she is?
What do you mean?
Like her distance from the plexiglass, does that affect your?
Yeah, there is that white line in between. If she was on the plexiglass, then there wouldn't be that separation.
Okay, so you'll always have that as long as she's not on it.
Yeah, basically, if she was on it, then there wouldn't be. But yeah, that's a good question. I'm just doing it this far away for now. Okay, that's good. Let's do that one more time. 3, 2, 1.
iPad stand here, guys, so it'll just
Good. And then can you look at me, Lonnie? Perfect. Good. And let me show you kind of what it's looking like.
Okay, I'm gonna fix my hand a little bit.
See, she's gonna fix her hand. It happens every time. It's perfect. Okay. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Perfect. Excuse me. Is that better?
Sorry, one more time.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. And see, that's the beauty of it. That's what I said. Like that's what I love about dance photography is that it's collaborative. And she's like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And I'm like, let's do it again because that's great. I want it to look good, and we want to make sure we get it. And you can. Good. And to me, it's worth it because, is that better? We can do it again if you want.
One more time, sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. We're going to get this pose down. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna do one more thing and then we'll go over and show you guys the photos. But I just want to show you something that I really love, which is copper, which I use so much, probably too much. But you'll see what it'll do. We can just, do you want to do this pose or is there another one you wanted to do? That one? Okay, that'd be perfect. Can you do that, but turn your head this way? This way? Yeah. Good. No, you're good, you're good. And then I'm losing your right arm. I don't see it, so I'll show you. If you want to maybe put it out more.
Maybe it'll come behind my back.
Or behind your back. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Good. Okay, let's just get this pose down and then I'll add the copper to it. So is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'll
okay. Okay. So yeah, so when I add copper, so Jaren just got this I think on Amazon. It's just a copper pipe. But when you put it around your, let's see, I'm gonna need to scoot back a little bit. So copper works a lot better. I mean, I use it more when I am shooting a little bit more compressed, because otherwise it will show up. Well, it'll show up here, but here, let's use this, sorry. So this is also just a copper pitcher that he cut off the bottom. So let's try that. Let's see. Definitely. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. And so let's see, we have 5 minutes. So I'll just shoot a little bit more with the copper and then I'll show you guys kind of what it does. So Lonnie, can you do your first pose that you did? Yeah. I'm just going to show them kind of what the copper does. And again. So I don't know if that's going through or not, but.
So if you guys want to know Jaren's secret, this is it.
Yeah, so basically, and it works here. I'm going to change my lens really fast. It works a lot better with a 70 to 200. Or something longer like a 100 millimeter lens. Something that just is more compressed because then it will catch the light more and it won't just be this random circle. I actually use, sometimes I use 100, but generally I use, there we go. Generally, I'm going to scoot back a little bit more. I use 70 to 200 and I shoot more compressed. I was just using the 24 to 70 because we're kind of up close. But here we go. There we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, Lonnie. Good. Let's see. So that's capturing the... So basically what copper does is it just captures the different light strobes basically, and you can move it around. But let's connect the iPad to the TV so we can kind of go through those for the last 5 minutes. And there's a couple questions that we had. So the settings, it was 1/200th of a second. That's as fast as you can go with the Pro Photos. Do you want to just bring it over?
Yeah, bring it over.
Okay, I'm going to show you my whole process of this. So, sorry, Ellie, but if that's okay. So, let's see if I can make this big. No, I don't know where my mouse is. There it is. Okay. So my settings were 7:1 aperture, 400 ISO, and 1/200th of a second. And generally, 1/200th of a second is fast enough to free stuff with strobe. And then if I wanted to do motion blur, then I do like 1/30th of a second or something. And it just depends on what you wanted to do. But I just want to show you my process really fast of how I decided to light this. So first I put a key light in, and that's just with the key. And then I was like, oh, that's a little bit too split light for me. And so then I moved it a little bit. And I was like, hey, that's what I like. And then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to see I'm going to turn that off and then see what the kicker is doing. So how I do it, I will just do one light at a time, because sometimes it gets really overwhelming. And you just have to like take a step back and be like, okay, key, what does the key look like? Turn off the key. What does kicker look like? Turn off the kicker. What does gel look like? Turn off the gel. Turn them all together. How does it look? Okay, do I still like it? Don't like it? Okay, let me move it again. But at least you can just do one at a time. And so that's what this is us doing. So that's them together. And then I was like, oh, I want a little bit more shape. So then I added that. And then I had Lonnie come in and we tried the black plexi, and then just saw like, oh, how is the gel looking on the back? Oh, it was like a little bit off-centered, so I moved it a little bit. And then, yeah, so this is where we're starting. And then, yeah, you can see the ceilings in there. So I was like, okay, I can't really show on the plexi anymore because I need to lift the camera up or else hers going to be at the ceiling. But yeah, so that was that first shot.
You ever raise the plexi up like a foot on some of your little boxes?
That's what I was wondering. Does that eliminate the gap? Have you tried that?
Would that eliminate the gap? I don't know. What I've done to eliminate the gap is to just get it closer to them. But then it's hard because then it depends on what lens you're shooting in. So yes, there's the gap there. But okay, so I think this is where we had her move lights. Let's see, we changed the light. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, I think it's right here. So this is where she was kind of like, the key was right here and she's kind of in the middle of the key. And then I had her come step up and you can see just that change of how the light is falling on her face, just moving like 5 inches, And so just kind of what you want. Oh, sorry, I keep scrolling and I can't scroll down. So yes, these are the ones. And then, so I saw like, hey, see how her body's a little bit rotated? And so I asked her to go a little bit more to the right. And then she's like, yeah, that's great. And then she said, hey, I want to change my hand. So she changed her hand. And so it's just kind of every pose you're working together. And you're showing them until they get it right. And then, yeah, this is where she was looking at the light. I was like, I really like that. But what would it look like if she looked at me a little bit more, And then you get a little bit more interaction. So that's something I like to keep in mind too, of where their face is. Let's go down and see these. To see this, the lighting is kind of coming. It's a little bit too much from the bottom for me, so that's why we moved it. And now it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more flat, but.
When you're editing, if you're ever just slightly opposed, do you rotate them correctly, like?
Yeah, I do. I definitely use the crop tool probably every single time, and the alignment tool. I'll always align it because even sometimes to me, if even the camera's like on the ground, somehow it's like crooked. So yeah, I'll use the alignment tool. yeah, let's see if we can get, so yeah, that's kind of why I liked the reflection too. It adds, you know, a fun element to it. So that's why I wanted to try plexi today, because I don't think I've ever done it, so I wanted to try it.
Brooklyn, would you use a tripod for just like framing spot and just let dance through that, or do you like freehand?
The only time I've ever used a tripod is when I'm doing shutter, like intense shutter drag, where I have either I'm running in with a light to move around, but I'll always freehand it. So that way I can choose my background a lot faster instead of being like, wait, hold on a second, and like, I don't know what your guys' tripod is like, but mine just takes forever to use. So then here's that pose, and I said, oh, hey, I can't see your arm. So I showed her that, and then she changed it. So yeah, I'll just show you guys with the copper. So this is the copper on a wide angle. Doesn't work as well, but then you start getting it more compressed, and it will kind of add like a fun gradient. And if we had more time, I would have maybe you angle the gel. If I angled the gel a little bit more towards the copper for to catch it, this would have been blue. But right now it's catching the rim light. So that's what you kind of want to keep in mind. But it's just a cool thing that it just adds a different element, and it's just a copper tube. So anyways, we're out of time. But thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. And